Welcome back, guys, to Warhammer Weekend Times. I'm your host, Stan. And today I've got kind of a unique scenario for y'all. We have two Empire players commanded by myself and Sippy Sapo, and we are going to be holding this small little manor fort against 3 armies of Chaos. And the gist is that all the Chaos armies are on different teams. So they are going to come in and try and wipe the Empire out, and once they do, they're going to turn on one another, and it should be a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to play. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and go over the army comps, and then we'll start. But Gojira over here is going to be playing as a Cultist of Slaanesh, and he has a unit of Ungor Herd in front. He's also got a couple units of Marauders. Over here, he's got about 4 units of Chaos Warriors. He's got 1 unit of Slaanesh Chosen, a couple units of Marauder Axe Throwers, about 2 units of Chaos Warriors with Halberds. In the back, he's got 2 units of Seekers of Slaanesh, 2 units of Chaos Knights, 2 units of Marauder Horsemen, and then 1 unit of Chosen Knights of Slaanesh. So that is going to be Gojira's army. He's bringing a lot of cavalry. Over here, we've got Geraldo playing as the Warriors of Khorne, and he's got 4 units of Ungor Raiders up in front. He's also got about 2 units of Marauders in front as well. He's got several units of Chaos Warriors with Halberds, a couple units of regular Chaos Warriors. He's got some Marauder Horsemen in the back, along with some Khorne Chosen, and then some Bloodletters of Khorne. I believe he's also got 2 units of Chaos Ogres on each flank, and then 1 unit... I'm sorry, guys. He's got 2 units of Chaos Ogres, 1 on each flank, and then he has 2 units of Chaos Knights, 1 on each flank as well. And in the center of his army, he has a Hell Cannon of Chaos. So that is going to be Geraldo's army. Over here we have Trevor C playing as the playing as the Children of Nurgle, and he has about 5 units of Chaos Warriors. He's also got about 5 units of Chaos Warriors with Halberds, and way at the end he's got, I believe, 2 units of Nurgle Chosen. In the front he's got a couple units of Nurglings. Actually, he's got 5 units of Nurglings. That is a lot of Nurglings. He's also got a unit of Plague Bearers, a unit of Chaos Knights, and a unit of Chosen Knights of Nurgle. So those are going to be the Chaos armies, guys. Let's go ahead and look at the Empire armies. Over here, I have a long line of Empire Halberdiers. I've also got some Tüdingen Guard, a unit of Empire Mortar, a couple units of Swords of Ulrich. I've got I'm sorry, guys. For some reason, I thought I already said War Altar of Sigmar. But I've got a couple units of Swords of Ulrich, a War Altar of Sigmar. Excuse me. I've got a couple units of Great Swords, some Empire Spearmen. I've also got some Bright Wizards over here, and I believe I've got 1 unit of Master Engineers with the Peter handguns, and a unit of Empire Archers, and that is going to be my infantry. Over here for my cavalry, I've got 2 units of Knights Panther, which are very, very fast, heavy cav. I've got some Outriders as well, a unit of Demigryph Knights with Halberds, and a unit of Pistoliers. Over here for Sippy Sapo's army, he's got 2 units of Demigryph Knights with Halberds. I believe he's also got a couple units of Great Swords. He's got some Hochland Marksmen, which have a really, really high damage for their gun, or for their firearm. He's also got 2 units of Drakewald Patrol. Over here, he's going to have the rest of his army. He's got, I believe, 2 units of Empire Mortar, 1 over here, and then 1 on this little perch. He's got a couple units of Empire Archers. He's got a War Altar of Sigmar for himself as well over on this flank. He's got a few units of Empire Halberdiers, about 4 of them over here. He has a unit of Grey Wizards perched up on top here, and a unit of Empire Archers. I believe he's also got 1 unit of Empire Swordsmen, and I think that is going to be all of Sippy Sapo's army. So let's go ahead and just start this battle, because it does start off pretty quickly. But I am going to start charging my cavalry out. I am going to target some of Trevor C's armies, because he did bring a lot of infantry. He's only got a couple units of cav, which is going to be pretty good for my Knights Panther, because they are going to outpace a lot of the Chosen Knights of Nurgle that Trevor brought. But these Nurglings are going to be a problem for me. I'm going to really have to chew through them first before I'm going to be able to get at those Chaos Warriors. So I'm going to charge in my Knights Panther, hopefully going to get as many kills as I can with these Nurglings, or into these Nurglings. But Trevor's actually going to countercharge with his Chaos Warriors. He's probably going to take out a few of my Knights Panther. I'm also going to charge over here with my Knights Panther and my Demigryph Knights with Halberds into these Nurglings. And you really don't want to underestimate Nurglings, guys. They are a pretty good unit. You can space them out in with your infantry, and they can really help support them. They can help stun lock units. They can help defend against cav charges. They are a pretty good unit for the money. I think they're only about 1,000 gold. They've got about 2 HP. Their stats are pretty bad, and they're pretty slow, but they're a very good utility unit. Over here, I'm going to be charging in my Knights Panther and my Demigryph Knights into Geraldo's line. He is going to countercharge with his Ogres, and I believe up here, Sippy Sapo is going to start firing away with his Hawkland Marksman into some of these other Ogre units down here. He's going to want to do a lot of damage to these high HP targets. Gunpowder's a good answer to them. They do penetrate armor about 50%. They ignore defense and shield bonus, so you can do a lot of damage to high HP targets with firearms, especially with some of the mages, because they technically are classified as either javelins or firearms. I believe flamers are kind of like mounted firearm cav. But over here, Trevor is charging in his Chaos Warriors into my line. This is going to be kind of a hard fight for me just because he has so much heavy infantry. My halberds will hold the formation for a little while, but unless I really get some good assistance into them, they're going to just get mauled through by these Chaos Warriors. I mean, look at how many he has over here. I'm going to get some nice shots with my Bright Wizards, however, into his line. He is spaced out. He is kind of getting a little more bunched up over here, so I'm going to try and take advantage of that with some of my Bright Wizards, but unless he really bunches up tight and I get some really optimal shots with my Bright Wizards, I could miss an opportunity to do a lot of damage to him over here. And I think they're still firing, but I'm not really sure. Let's go take a look over at Gojira's side. It does look like his Slanesh Chosen have engaged against these Empire Halberdiers. I think he's going to start charging in his Chaos Warriors behind them, but the Grey Wizards are firing in to this massive cavalry. He's really bunched up here, and that is going to be a great shot from those Grey Wizards. He is going to singe about half of those Marauder Horsemen in that unit and take them out. That is going to be a really good use of these wizards up top. He has a great vantage point, actually, with both the wizards and the Empire archers. He has an opportunity to do a lot of damage to some of these lightly armored Marauder units. Marauder horsemen don't really have the highest armor value. They do have shields, which help, but it does look like he's throwing some of his javelins in, taking out some of these Empire halberdiers, not doing a ton of damage with those javelins, surprisingly. Let's go ahead and actually slow this down just a little bit, because this is a really tight engagement. You can see these Empire Halberdiers just fighting desperately against these Slaneshi Chosen and these just massive Chaos Warriors. I do know in the final version of 1.5, Chaos Warriors are going to be a bit beefier, because right now Empire Swordsmen actually hold up to them pretty well, which isn't supposed to be the meta. They're supposed to be pretty expensive, or Chaos Warriors are anyway. Supposed to be pretty expensive and very, very good in melee. But the Marauders over here are fighting against some of these Empire Swordsmen. Both, or actually, I guess the Empire Swordsmen are shaking. It looks like he's got some range fire coming in the form of these Marauder Axe Throwers. So he can do a lot of damage over here, and Sippy Sapo is going to have to really hold this engagement effectively if he's going to want to do a lot of damage. I'm continuing to fire over here with my Bright Wizards, however, into Trevor's kind of flank. He's starting to peel my flank back. He's got a good opportunity right now. He can actually charge in with his Chaos Warriors into some of my Bright Wizards. I might be able to stem the tide with some of my Great Swords, but I'm going to get some great shots with the Fireballs. With those Bright Wizards, that's really kind of how you want to use them. You want to use their alternative fire when it becomes more advantageous to hit kind of a laned up target rather than just a massive AoE. The AoE would be pretty good in this situation, but I would have a big chance to do a lot of damage to my own line. Bright Wizards are kind of known for having that kind of high risk reward chance. You can do a lot of damage to your enemies, but if you have some bad shots, you can just roast your own units accidentally. It looks like Trevor's going to push through and really start doing a lot of damage to my Bright Wizards. I am probably going to lose this wizard unit unless I get them out of there. These Plague Bearers have a lot of HP, and it looks like Trevor is just pushing through my line. I'm going to get some recharges, however, with my Knights Panther, and it looks like I got my Demigryph Knights in a really good position to charge in. Let's see if I do that here. Maybe I'm thinking about it. There we go. But I'm going to charge in my demis in here. I really should have been doing this a lot earlier in the battle, coming in with my cav, because Trevor has done just that. He's moved his cavalry in and crushed my flank over here, and he's moving his Nurgle Chosen and his Chaos Warriors in. I'm going to get a good charge with my Demigryph Knights with halberds into his Nurgle Chosen and his Chaos Warriors with halberds, but I don't want to leave these guys invested too long into melee. That is going to be really problematic for my demis, because those Chaos Warriors with halberds will just chew through them very, very quickly. So I don't want to leave my guys involved for too long. Looks like a Hell Cannon of Chaos Shot is going to come in here, rout these Master Engineers. That is not going to be very good. There's still a lot in there. They'll probably come back. Doesn't look like it looks like he only lost one Master Engineer, but the morale penalty was big enough to do a lot of damage to their morale, so he did get routed. I'm going to charge in again with my demis with halberds into the backs of these Chaos Warriors, into these Nurglings, doing a lot of damage here, but this is kind of what I was talking about. These Nurglings kind of, because they're so slow, kind of got left behind and actually kind of acted as a shield to shield shield Trevor's forces from my cavalry, but my line has just crumbled. I have really lost pretty much most of what I've got, and it's up to Sippy Sapo right now to hold the line. I do have some Master Engineers left, but it looks like Gojira has moved into Seekers of Slaanesh and has countered those over here. It looks like a small area has kind of opened up. I tried to hold this with my greatswords, but my micro was not there, and those Seekers just slid right through. Back over here with Sippy's line, it looks like his line is thinning out a little bit more. Looks like we've got his Empire Archers moving in to kind of engage into melee. Looks like the Grey Wizards are going at it again. Lots and lots of damage here, actually. He's getting some good shots in with those Grey Wizards into that mass. He did get a little bit of friendly fire, it looked like, in that one, though. A little bit of overlap. Looks like he singed some of his War Altar of Sigmar. They are kind of acting as a supplemental crew at this point. Let's slow this down just a minute, though. There's a lot happening. Just lots and lots of Chaos Warriors and Slaaneshi Chosen getting just roasted. Looks like there is the Drummer Boy in this Halberdier unit. That's what I really like, is there are little details like this, like the little Drummer Boy is, I guess he's kind of like the captain, or I guess that's a technical term. Oh man, he stabbed that dude right through his chest. That was cool. That was really neat. That's another reason why I like this. The unit animations really just click with one another. They fit well. They don't feel forced. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is when a dude gets hit in Medieval 2, you really kind of, the way he buckles and the way he kind of flinches really kind of implies he gets that. That's really not a very good animation there, though, or explanation there, or example. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting my words all mixed up today because some of these do act a little wonky, but I do like the way Medieval 2 handles some of those animations. It just fits, and I don't know if that's because I'm running up at nearly 1,600 hours now in Medieval 2, or because it's just Medieval 2 is just a great game. I really think it's just because it's a great game, so I try not to be biased, but I kind of am. But let's go take a look at what's going over here with Sippy Sapo's line and what I have left. I think I've got a few units of Knights Panther and some Demigriffs with halberds. I can use these a little bit in this game, but or this late in the game, but there's not much left for me to do. Look at this. Geraldo's just pouring through with his Cornish units. He does still have his Ungor Raiders. Looks like he's firing at some of the Slaaneshi units over here. He's trying to take them out. Some really good shots from the Grey Wizards. I don't think that's actually as effective as beautiful as it looked, but it did look pretty. It's like fireworks, just big fireworks. Anyway, guys, so it looks like Geraldo has pretty much cleaned up Sippy Sapo's line over here, and Trevor has cleaned up my line over here. And here they go, guys. They're going to meet in the middle. Khorne and Nurgle absolutely hate each other, and they're just going to go at it. They waste no time. Looks like Nurgle's going to be charging in while these Bloodletters of Khorne are just picking off what was left of some of these isolated Chaos Warriors. So here we go, guys. This engagement's starting. It looks like Geraldo doesn't have quite as many units in here as Trevor might. Looks like Trevor was a little bit farther advanced in, and he still has a lot of his Nurglings and his chosen Knights of Nurgle, but it looks like as Geraldo is moving up with his Chaos Warriors and his Chaos Warriors with halberds, this is going to be quite the melee between Khorne and Nurgle. Let's slow this engagement down a little bit too. I'm really trying to use the slow-mo feature a little more in my replays, guys. I know some people really like them. I like it a lot when I'm watching replays and people slow them down just a little bit to let me kind of just enjoy the melee, especially this. This is such a tightly packed engagement. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on, especially with some of these banners in the way. I'm also kind of debating maybe turning banners off for some battles when they're in like this really close kind of engagement like this, so you can see the units a little better, but it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. But you know, you guys let me know in the comments below what you guys want to see, because this is why I do these. I do this for y'all's enjoyment. and just because it's a lot of fun to do these. So, but anyway, guys, so we can see Geraldo is beginning to kind of scoot around here. The Nurglings are kind of keeping him from moving in against some of these Chaos Warriors for Nurgle, and this is kind of what I was talking about. You can kind of have these Nurglings kind of involved around in here, and so even though there are only like 2 Nurgle units over here, or 2 Nurgle halberdiers fighting this one Cornish Chaos Warrior, they're actually really helping stunlock these guys. They're helping keep them manageable for the Nurgle troops, which are, I think, a little bit outnumbered at this point. It looks like as Khorne has poured in here, he's really forming a tight formation here. He's got a lot of his Khorne chosen here, which have a pretty quick attack animation. These Bloodletters of Khorne are kind of in the front lines as well. If we go over here, we can actually see that Sippy Sappo has a mortar left. It looks like he's about to fire in. It doesn't look like Slaanesh is going to let him, though. He's going to kind of come in here. But I think what's going to happen is Slaanesh might either lose these knights or he might just back off, because what's happening is Khorne and Nurgle are really in a great position right here to get mortared. And if Slaanesh can just let Sippy Sappo mortar them, why wouldn't he? I mean, he's just going to do his work for him. I mean, it looks like Gojira doesn't quite have as much infantry as those both, or as the other 2 Chaos factions do together. Looks like he's got more Cav, however. He definitely has both of those Seekers of Slaanesh, which are going to be really integral later in the game. Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and go full speed. But we can see just Nurgle and Khorne tearing each other apart over here. The Cav is in here. He might want to move his Knights and Nurgle out of here. They have a really high mass, although it looks like Geraldo's trying to do the same. And it looks like, actually, as Geraldo's pulling his Cav out, it looks like Trevor's going to pull his Cav out as well. And if they get some good cycle charges, this could really turn the tide of the battle. If we go farther out over here, it looks like the Ungor Raiders are coming in. This is going to be pretty big because they kind of have some good flanking shots into Nurgle, and this might change the outcome of the battle. Oh, and here we go, guys. Here come the mortars coming in. Looks like they're going to kill quite a bit of Khorne's units there. Looks like both mortars were kind of centered right here and right here. Did a bit of damage to Khorne's flank over here. It looks like Nurgle might actually be getting the upper hand over here. We'll have to kind of wait and see what happens. Another shot coming in from the mortar, doing a bunch of damage to Nurgle in that shot. Looks like it did a bunch of damage to Khorne as well, but that is going to be pretty bad. It looks like some of the Nurgle Chosen are actually routing at 29. That's pretty important, actually, because those Nurgle Chosen are 2 HP units. They're really tough. They're going to have a lot of stopping power for Trevor. Another mortar coming in and just devastating this line, absolutely thinning it out. At this point, these guys might want to divert their attention from each other and onto Slaanesh, but apparently in the lore, Nurgle and Khorne hate each other. The way it was explained to me is Nurgle does not kill with blood. He kind of, everything turns to pus and muck and just illness, and that's not good for Khorne, so it looks like Khorne's line is thinning out here. Nurgle does have a few more troops over here, but it looks like on this side that Khorne really has the advantage, especially against these Nurglings. And with those Ungor Raiders firing in like that, they're going to quickly kind of chew through those Nurglings. Looks like there are still some Plague Bearers over here, and these Chaos Warriors with halberds are going to be doing some important work on them. Although I think the Plague Bearers are probably going to have the upper hand in here just from the fact that there are so few of these. Yeah, look at these guys. They're just getting whomped here. They went down from like 16 to 8 really quick. Although a rear charge from these Chaos Knights is really going to... Oh, well, that wasn't as effective as I thought it was. It looks like a few of these Plague Bearers are going to die. Maybe some of them are going to kind of get knocked down, but that actually wasn't as climactic as I expected it to be. Looks like over here, Slaanesh is getting his units involved over here. The Nurgle Chosen looks like they may have come back just a little bit. They are still wavering, though. That's not very good. They could break at any moment. Looks like some of Slaanesh's infantry is also getting pushed out, but at this point, he's really beginning to invest a lot of his Chaos Warriors and his Chaos Warriors with halberds. And look at these guys. These guys are pretty healthy. 68 in the unit, only winded over here. These guys are tired. 62 in this unit. So he's going to have a lot of heavy infantry to deal with these guys, even though he didn't really bring as much heavy infantry as the other 2 Chaos factions did at the beginning. Looks like Khorne still has a bit of Chaos Warriors over here, so he is going to be a little problematic for Slaanesh, but Slaanesh does still have these Seekers, which are going to be really vicious. Now, Seekers, I think, have pretty low armor. I don't think they have any really defense, bonus against any kind of arrows. I don't think defense bonus gets rolled into any ranged attacks, but they don't have a shield, so they should be fairly vulnerable to ranged fire. Even these Ungor Raiders, with as many of them in this unit as there are, he might be able to really thin out these Seekers. The Chaos Knights are coming in after them. It looks like they might hopefully get some good charges in. I don't know, these Seekers are going to be tough. They're going to be a real problem for Khorne and Nurgle to deal with this late in the game. Looks like Slaanesh does still have some of his own Chaos Knights, and he's going to charge these guys in against these Chaos Ogres. The Ogres are going to absolutely wall up these Chaos Knights, though. Look at these guys. They're just getting chewed apart. These Ogres are exhausted, though, so he needs to be careful. If he loses a few in a rear charge, they could rout. Ogres don't have the best morale, but if he concentrates well enough with the charges on these Ogres, and if he kind of involves them in with some of these other Chaos Warriors, he might be able to pull this out. But the cavalry game is really important at this point. There's a lot of cav for the Slaanesh. There's not a lot of cav left for Khorne, although Khorne does have a Hell Cannon back over here, and if he gets a lucky shot in one of these Seeker units, it could change the game. Even if he gets a lucky shot in just one of these infantry units, it could be really important. There's not much left on the field. It looks like Khorne is beginning to kind of whittle down over here. Slaanesh, I think, has the numbers. He's moving in some more of his Chosen, and that is going to really kind of give him an edge. Looks like Chaos Warriors over here, he's got like 42 versus 48, but then there are some Halberd units, and those are going to stun lock some of these guys. There are a few Bloodletters still left alive, but there aren't really enough to make a major difference in the battle. But we'll have to kind of see. Just Slaanesh has so many units left, it's just incredible. This is going to be really, really hard for these guys to pull this off, or for Geraldo to pull this off at this point. I think Trevor doesn't really have anything left on the field. The Chaos Ogres are broken. There's only one left in them, though. They wouldn't add that much to the battle, even if this guy wasn't breaking. He needs to get on those Seekers of Slaanesh with these Ungor Raiders right now if he needs to thin them out, or if he intends to kill them. They're down to 21 and 14. There's not a lot left. There's really not. If he can thin out about 10 or 15 of these Seekers, he can maybe whittle them down to be a less of an effective unit on their charges. Because the way they work, or from my understanding, the way that Medieval 2 charges work is it has a lot to do with the unit's speed. So even if you have like a really high charge bonus but a really low speed, it's not going to equate to the same as if you have a high speed and low charge. I mean, it's going to be a similar calculation. Don't misunderstand me, but it's going to be a different value. So even if you have like a really low charge and you're moving just really quick, that charge is going to be amplified by your speed. So it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how that plays later on, because I know in 1.5 the tooltips are supposed to be adjusted a bit to kind of better reflect that kind of stuff. So Geraldo is fighting in melee now with his Ungor Raiders. That is not good for him. These Chaos Warriors are going to just have a heyday with them. They are routing now, and this game really looks like it's starting to go Gojira's way. These Chaos Warriors with halberds are chewing through these Ungor Raiders. They're not going to have too much left in them. Now, he might be able to toggle fire at will and get some point-blank shots into these Chaos Warriors with halberds, but they do have a high armor value, and those the damage on those Ungor Raiders, I think, is like 4 or 5, so it's below a typical like Empire Archer unit. So they're not terribly scary, especially kind of when they're on lower numbers, like 47. So this guy is routing here, so that is going to be the end of most of those infantry units. It does look like Geraldo is getting ready for a parting gift, however, with his Hell Cannon of Chaos. I don't think he can turn the game around with it at this point. Maybe if Gojira just like bunched all of his dudes into like a tiny little circle and he just hit just right in the middle, he might be able to get a good shot in there and finish off a lot of Gojira's units, but he's spread out. He's really spread out. Slaanesh Chosen over here, some Chaos Warriors over here, some Chaos Warriors with halberds getting just burned up by that Hell Cannon right over here. These guys are going to waver, though. They are exhausted. They're low in number, and that's typically what you see is the more tired a unit is, the easier it is to rout, and it is a lot easier, guys, to rout a unit than it is to kill an entire unit. That is kind of why Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts are really kind of a good faction, because you have to kill every single one of their undead units. So Gojira is going to come in at the last moment pretty much and just finish off this Hell Cannon with his Seekers and with his Chaos Knights, and that is going to be the game, guys, pretty much. Gojira is going to take the day for Slaanesh, but it was a really close game. If you look at what Gojira had left, he had a few Chaos Warriors with halberds left, a few Slaanesh Chosen, and just look at this battlefield. Just look at the carnage. All of these just dead guys in the middle. This is exactly what I wanted in this scenario. Just everybody just hodgepodging it in the middle, fighting to the death, and kind of treating it like a free-for-all. It's almost like a free-for-all siege in a way, but that is going to be the end of the game right there, guys. Let's take a look at my kills. I got 211 with my Demigrove Knights with halberds, 267 with my Master Engineers. Oh, wait, no, that's my Bright Wizards, guys. I'm sorry, I read that. I columned that up wrong. Only 32 with my Master Engineers. That's really low. I got 267 with my Bright Wizards. That's pretty good, considering Bright Wizards are kind of hard to keep safe. 320 with my Knights Panther is really good as well. And everything's actually kind of subpar. 0 kills with my Pistoliers, only 1 kill with my Mortar. And that is going to be the game, guys. I would like to give a special thanks to Trevor C. We did this game maybe about 4 times on different maps trying to get a certain scenario, or this scenario, to kind of work out the best. And he did it every single time. So just want to thank him for being a trooper. And also I would like to give a thanks to Amu in the Discord for giving us the idea for this this scenario. So, but anyway, guys, that was the battle. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys very soon.